Today, a friend of the producer is coming over to play Smash Brothers Melee.
How you doing?
Pretty good at yourself?
Yeah. Good.
He considers himself to be pretty good, having played the game for several years. What he doesn't know is he's about to play KoreanDJ, one of the greatest Melee players of all time.
Oh! Whoops.
Each player has 4 lives or stocks, and must take all of his opponent's stocks to win. KDJ will lose 3 on purpose.
Oh, Fox is so awesome. Oh,
Dude, Fox
so
is
excited
good.
I'm playing this game again.
Fox is really good.
Now, he will try.
I want to introduce you to KoreanDJ, who is one of the greatest Smash Brothers players of all time.
KDJ then invited the cameraman to fight.
What?
And then the producer.
Oh, there's gotta be enough of us here. Nice. Oh!
Oh my god!
How is it possible for someone to be so fast and so precise that even 3 opponents would be no match? This is about a game that was never designed to be played at a competitive level. And the people who discovered just how far the game could go.
Well, I'd never heard your name before, so go suck a dick.
Tons of people behind me just screaming.
He goes there ready to die. Best feeling ever.
But mostly, this is about the 7 greatest players who, in their time, ruled the world.
You want me to wrap up Smash, like, as a whole?
Yeah.
The whole thing?
The whole thing.
John Salty Snacks presents A Brief History of Smash. It was the turn of the century and everyone was bored. Bored, that is, until Masahiro Sakurai invented a brilliant new way to legally beat your children. Super Smash Bros. Melee for Nintendo GameCube. Since then, everything has been just hunky-dory.
When Smash Brothers Melee was released, it was intended to be a party game. Something your family could play together. Something designed for the casual gamer. The game was stocked with Nintendo characters most people would recognize. Donkey Kong, Mario, Bowser, and some few would recognize Captain Falcon, Sheik, Marth, Fox. The game itself was unique in a world of 2D fighters.
I liked that it was easy to pick up. Like Street Fighter, you had to know shit combos. This game, you could just play and have fun.
There's just a fluidity to it that normal 2D fighters don't have. Not to say 2D fighters are bad or anything. Disclaimer.
You know, other games, you got the charge moves, quarter circles.
Smash, you make up your own combos. It's, you know, it's all about the physics. It's almost like a sandbox fighting game.
of course, because I had fun, I then started taking it seriously. And it's like, shit, there are combos in this too. And it's actually a lot broader, I guess, than most fighting games, because it isn't just memorizing inputs. You have to think a lot more, judge where people are going.
Everybody's like, it's going up. It's supposed to go the other way, and then they die. Yeah, it's confusing.
Oh, yeah, the percentage. It's not at all like any other fighting game.
When you get hit, or when things hit you, or like when you fall or whatever, your percentage goes up. And that means that the next time someone hits you, you'll go a little bit farther. And then when you go far enough that you leave the box that is the stage, because every stage is really a box, then you die.
There's a lot of strategy in just making sure people don't come back onto the stage once you knock them off. You can kill people at 0% or like 1% if you just play it really smart and trick them into doing something. Whereas other fighting games, you can't really have that small tactical advantage. Like, you have to kind of chip away at them constantly.
Out of 649 GameCube games, Melee was by a wide margin the most popular. But despite the insistence that it should be a casual experience, a few players saw it as much more than that, and they took it to another level.
Well, I mean, I first picked up the game when it came out, obviously. I was there waiting in line at, I guess it would have been Best Buy, and brought it back and played all the challenges, you know, one by one, event mode. Fell in love instantly. It was brilliant. It was even better than 64, which I also played all the time with my friends. It was fantastic, and I've been playing it for a couple of years when we found out about tournaments, that they hosted tournaments for the game.
Oh, he's the best.
I thought it was just it was a one-time thing. It was for fun. It was silly, and we went to Live or Die. It was our first tournament. It was a crap show. Honestly, it was crowded and it was smelly, and I did really, really, really poorly, and it was frustrating. But that was it. You know, it was just like turning on a light. We were trash, just trash compared to these people. And that was very exciting for us. Once I realized where I was on the spectrum of this game, how far down I was, that the training started right away.
Welcome to Smash Brothers Training. Today you will learn the first advanced technique ever discovered.
Wave dashing.
Wave dashing. What the hell is a wave dash?
Wave dashing. This is Samus. Besides being a robot bounty hunter, she is also an accomplished dancer. By jumping and then quickly dodging into the ground, she can transfer her momentum into a slide, speeding up her combos and increasing her movement options. Despite this, she still cannot do the robot. That's all for now. See you next time.
Players learned how to use wave dashing and other advanced techniques to speed up the game to the point where it basically got ridiculous. Most people figure that we put in about 6 or 7 inputs per second, which is roughly about the same as professional StarCraft. It kind of broke the boundaries that people expected to see in Smash.
There aren't set combos, there aren't a list that somebody somewhere decided what you can do. You can do whatever you want to with your character. You compare it to sports, you compare it to basketball or football, where a person is in control of every movement of their body. And while the video game is just a series of zeros and ones, everybody looks different. I can watch a video of a Marth, I can tell you whether it's Ken or Neo or Azen. You can see the style in a person's character, and that to me is incredible.
And, you know, I've ran tournaments for MLG, I've ran Men Challenge, I've ran Tekken, I've ran Halo, I've ran Gears of War, Rainbow Six, Shadowrun, Smash Brothers Melee, Smash Brothers Brawl, so I've ran and been around a lot of high caliber games, and I've seen them all, and I think Melee is one of the deepest and most intricate games you can ever play competitively, which is crazy for a game made by Nintendo that wasn't supposed to be competitive with cartoon characters, but it just kind of was like a beautiful accident.
Although Melee has advanced considerably, for the first few years there were no guidelines. The first to uncover and master these techniques would instantly become the most dangerous player.
Did you just call him Chris? Holy shit! Coming. No, it's not Krishan. It's not cool.
Come on, Azen.
Cool with the game?
We weren't really serious about it. I mean, we had fun with it, but the moment where it changed from like just casual play to competitive was when my brother met Azen at school. The biggest thing about him that I've gotten over now, which I guess is why I didn't start with it, but is just the fact that he's like freakishly good at video games. Like he just has this knack for being able to figure a game out and apply the best tactics immediately. This old school MMORPG called Growl. He was like top 2 ranked, he said, in the PvP servers of that worldwide Pokemon Puzzle League. Top scores in almost every mode. It was also just different genres. I mean, you got an MMO, you got a fighting game, and then you got a puzzle game, like, and he's just nailing like all 3 genres. We would just go to Fest and we'd be playing games for fun, and he's still like whooping our ass in them. Like, we're playing Mario Party over here, and he's just fucking like winning all the mini games. It's something, like I said, that I'm used to now, but it's still like, when I go back and think about it, it's like fucking incredible to think about. It seems like any game that he puts time into and cares about, he will get sick at. Crews weren't really like heavily established at the time. We were kind of one of the forerunners actually, because we wanted to show that as a group we had the most skill compared to any other group of players. Chu had joined our crew because we had met him at another tournament. He started coming to our fest, and that's pretty much what started like the whole crew rivalry aspect. Probably was the fact that we had this other group of players. And they were, you know, they also had like a name. They were very like established. We had seen their placements over tournaments.
At the time when Melee came out, this game called Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance came out. And we were just being silly about it. He's like, yo, we should just call ourselves Deadly Alliance. Everyone was the king of their town. Like Mike G, he was the king of Queens. Kamal, he's like the king of Brooklyn. And me and Jason, we was like the kings of Manhattan. And then we also met Kilo R. He was the king of Harlem. There was this guy named Brandon. His name is B. He pretty much knew about H2IO. And then he's like, yo, these guys, they're real good and everything. And he was the pretty much person networking between, you know, both crews.
He's just like, yeah, they're all like 20-year-old dudes from like the Bronx. And we're like, wow. Like,
I was like, yo, forget this, man. We're gonna go over there, we're gonna destroy the whole crew.
We're just like these high school kids playing Smash Brothers, and like, these are like fucking 20-year-old like inner city people just like bringing out like hardcore trash talk. If I ever told people at school or anything about like, oh, I go to tournaments, and they're like, oh, that's lame, I'm like, oh yeah? Well, let me show you this motherfucker West that goes to these tournaments. He's a fucking badass.
We was talking smack to each other, you know, we actually meet, and the next thing you know, Azen, he was pretty much beating my whole team.
That whole night, Azen was like wrecking them, but they actually beat the rest of our crew for, you know, overall. And
it was funny, he was even beating Dave with like Pichu. Because he would do like gimmicks, like just throwing you off the ledge and just gimping you. He would just do stuff like that to Dave, and Dave was like, oh, Azen's too good, I can't beat him, because that's how Dave is. Like, once a player is good and starts beating him, he starts like sucking their balls or whatever you want to call it. And the thing that Azen had over us at the time is because he knew about L canceling before us. So he was able to do moves like, you know, L cancel his moves to stop the delay on moves before us.
With his smart play and technical mastery, Azen had emerged as the best player on the East Coast. But across the country, a battle was brewing for best in the Golden State.
Tournament Go was one of the very first tournament series. It was really the first kind of national tournament series we ever had in our community. It was Matt Deasy who would just throw tournaments in his house, and you know, it'd be some setups on the middle floor, some setups on the bottom floor, and everyone would sleep there. Like, this guy would just house anyone that would fly in from anywhere or drive in from anywhere. He would give you a place to stay. They'd set up tents outside in his backyard, and it was like, I don't know, like Woodstock of gaming or something, where like all these people would show up and he'd be super friendly and open his house to them and house them for a weekend just to throw Smash tournaments. Vociferous, you know, was a guy who played Sheik back then and was just the strongest player. Like, he had won Tournament Go. It was the first couple of them. By default, he was, you know, considered the best player in the nation. I think we kind of had, not an arrogant community, but like we definitely knew we were really good at what we did. And the first story about Ken is like, you know, this guy like randomly posts that he won a GameStop tournament or some random tournament and he can't be beat in this game. And the thing about that, saying that, is everyone says that. Like, they beat their friends and they're unbelievable at this game and they will never lose. And I've seen it at so many tournaments, and these guys just get absolutely like crushed. Like, torn apart, like leave it with like, you know, tail between the legs. Like it was the same thing for Ken. Like some guy that wasn't part of our community was like, I'm really good at this game. There's no way you'll beat me.
I was just a small fish in a pond. I didn't know anything about the ocean yet. So Matt Deasy, you know, he saw that post and he actually contacted my brother on AM afterwards and wanted to do a money match. They thought it was going to be easy money, so $25 became $50, $50 became $100, and then eventually it became the $200 money match off the bat. To tell you the honest truth, I didn't even have the money at the time, and I still money matched them. He actually drove down like 6-7 hours, NorCal to SoCal. I played Reciferous first. He was like doing all these advanced techniques like wave dash, catching items on air. I was like, how did you do that? I just had to rely on my instincts to take me through. I ended up beating Reciferous. Matt Deasy and Reciferous' face, it was priceless. It was a funny thing because Matt Deasy is like, oh, okay, I guess I'm next. Matt Deasy would pick Corneria and then run to the one side of the ship and just constantly spam lasers at me, and I couldn't hit him. Every single time I'd approach him, he'd run to the other side and shoot more lasers at me. I realized like I had to adapt to that. So I found out that once I grabbed Matt Deasy, he wasn't able to run. So once I grabbed him, I was able to hit him. I asked him, I'm like, I beat you guys. Aren't you guys the best? I beat you guys. Does it not make me the best now? And Matt Deasy said, no. Just because you beat us in a money match doesn't make you the best. You have to win TG4. I host TG4. You have to win that. That's what makes you the best. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll have to go to TG4 and win that. I don't know about underground tournaments. You know, I thought it was going to be like EVO where they hosted it like, you know, at an auditorium or something where there's like stages and whatnot. But it was hosted at Matt Deasy's house. Like I saw these smashers. He was housing like most of them. So they were like, I saw him sleep on the ground. And I was like walking in there. I'm like trying to avoid smashers. They've heard of me. Like Matt Deasy and Reciferous were telling people about me, like how, you know, how I was. So they wanted to see it. I tore through the whole entire tournament. After people saw my skill, a lot of people actually dropped out of the tournament. The hype was like almost gone. It was like the last match of the day. It was me versus Reciferous. I ended up beating him. My parents really never supported me playing video games, especially at a competitive level. They would always tell me like, there's no way you're gonna be the best at this game. You know, there's always gonna be someone better than you. I'm one of those guys who want to prove people wrong. If you tell me I can't do that, I want to show you that I can do it. So when I came home from TG4 and I showed them a wad of cash, they're like, oh, that's beginner's luck. That's beginners. There's no way you can win another tournament.
Ken emerged from TG4 as the undisputed champion of the West, so it seemed that Ken and Azen were set on a collision course, with only a matter of time before they faced one another in the ultimate showdown.
What's a job?
Today's winner is Dr. Peepee. Come on.
It was very ugly, but he won, and he won a lot.
Ridiculous things would constantly happen.
You can watch it and just see the level of like mind games going on.
We owned it.
We scared of the Japs.
We wanted revenge.
I figured I'm definitely not playing a novice right here.
I've been playing for 10 years and I still can't nail that.
Famous triangle wave dash. He just goes straight. He goes
I go up and down. That's why people I think get so tight if I beat them.
Yeah,
this kid can't even wave that.